So what were the problems or challenges you were facing?
Yeah, the problem was huge. The problem was I'm living in a foreign country. I can't go back into my old career, which was China media, because I'm living in Italy. I had three kids to feed. I'd left my husband, and yeah, I was like, "Where's my skill set?" So I was actually at the stage of like, just how do you put food on the table? And I, found a place to live. Had suddenly had all five of those income streams dried up during COVID. And it was the first time it hit me that I was working for money, working, selling my time for my hours for time, and that my money wasn't working for me. And COVID and that incident and that realization happened at the same time that 20-year fund came to maturity, and I suddenly had a chunk of cash. It wasn't a lot of cash by any means, but you got to start with what you start with. And I was in that frozen position of like, what do I do with it? Like, I need this money to work for me because I'm over here scrambling to find a job and to put food on the table for the kids. I was really at that paralyzed, what do I do? What do I invest in? I was at that age where I felt like I don't have another, ride it out 20 years, and the stock market always rebounds. I don't have another 20 years to ride it out. Like, I had to do that's what my fear was.
A lot of people talk about wealth protection, and that's what I'm hearing. It's one thing to grow your capital, but you also want to protect the capital you've worked, so hard to
Mm-hmm.
create over the years. Why
Mm-hmm.
did you choose to work with us? What was it that attracted you?
It was very hard to find um, like-minded people who understood different parts of the world and who naturally understood diversification. And the mastermind narrowed that down and made it even more specific, diversifying across time and currencies and assets, is even more focused. But just the general idea of diversification. I mean, all my European friends just invest in European things, and all my American friends just invest in US things. So I really liked that. And then I liked the overall philosophy that we were trying to make what's available to the 1% available to the average person. And that really resonated with me, because no matter how much you learn, you're always thinking, what's that little bit I don't know? What's that part of the puzzle I don't know, because I'm not, a high net worth individual. Phenomenal. You have a half an hour free Zoom meeting with them, and with the president in the room, not just not just someone who's going to execute. And they say, "What's your story? What are your needs? What's your financial situation?" And I pulled up that matured fund that I had and said, I need to invest this, but I don't want to, I can't invest it for the long term. Here are my needs. I have immediate goals. I have three children that have just gone off to college. So I suddenly have immediate financial goals that I'm not going to be able to meet if I keep just relying on my income or selling time for money. And they listened. They asked really smart, relevant questions I wouldn't have thought of, but they were particular to me. And I didn't feel like I was being put into a box of, you're this type of investor, or you're this type of investor, or you're this type. And it wasn't just the like, are you high risk? Are you low risk? It was really they really tried to understand my needs. And within 24 hours, they had a proposal to me that said, here's what we're going to do to get you money right now. And then here's what we're going to hold off on and keep discussing and think about and get you into eventually. But here's what we're going to do to solve your immediate problem. And within 1 month, I had income coming in from an investment from them, which just liberated me. I mean, it was just the buffer I needed to not panic about money anymore, and to make the rest of the decisions slowly and from a different mindset. It's a safety net that's just unbelievable to me, that someone who is not by any means a high net worth individual can have your money working for you, can have my money working for me, and give me that peace of mind.
Yeah.
But there really isn't anything like finding the partnerships that we have in this group. I mean, there is no way, for all of my love of reading financial documents and being on financial websites and blogs, there isn't any way I would have ever found the partners to invest with and to invest in, without being in this group. There's just no physical way I could have ever, industrial buildings in Texas, or healthcare centers in Brisbane. How am I going to find those sitting here in the middle of Europe? So Yeah, I think the partnership is the number one reason to join the mastermind. It's not just about the knowledge, it's about how do you execute, but you can't execute unless you have the deals in front of you. And you can't have deals in life, in any aspect of life, unless you have good partners. And it's a partnership that I would highly recommend people to, it's worth the entire investment. I would say jump. I mean, I can't, when I think of where I was 1 year ago, it's a million miles away. And not just because I have income coming in, but knowing what my next steps are. Like, I know where I'm going. I know where the next chunk of money is going to go into. I know what, I want to invest in. I know what I don't want to invest in. And I know the partners that I want to do it with. And that's just a huge weight off anybody's, financial shoulders.